I just watched a video about USS Indianapolis and its tragedy, and before that the author of the video told a little story how the story of USS Indianapolis unfolded, previous previous events that happened that precede the tragedy of Indianapolis, and among them there was like stories about tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dead American people, and on Japanese islands when thousands of Americans simply died in an attempt to take over the Japanese islands, mainland of Japan. And it's like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands people that died in real war that was rude, cruel, absolutely unnecessary. And I can't understand, other than of course indoctrination, American hate towards the communists. Americans themselves never come across communists. In the same time, their people, Americans, was slaughtered, literally slaughtered at Japanese soil. Japan was the only country that attacked American, well, let's say mainland, for example. It's not mainland, of course, it's Hawaii, but the only country that invaded or attacked American bases on American soil. The only country that mass slaughtered American troops, truly slaughtered. It's not like tens of thousands dead people in one event, hundreds of thousands dead people in one event. It's like absolutely mind-boggling. And American doesn't hate Japanese. American hate communists that never attacked them, never invaded the United States, never attacked American bases on American soil, never caused truly tragic events towards the American people. Never. There was not a single precedent when communists attacked American people. And still, American people do not hate Japanese, but they hate communists that they never come across, that they never saw, never ever saw. And I can't explain this anyhow, but not anyhow, but how to say it, I don't know. I can't explain it by nothing else but indoctrination. The hate towards the people. You don't hate German who waged the war, who created the war, who created these conditions. You don't hate Japanese people who literally both slaughtered people just for fun. And you don't hate them. At least it's neutral. It's absolutely neutral position towards the Germans, German Nazis, or Japanese imperialists. At least it's just simply absolute normal position towards them, or I don't care, etc. But at the same time you hate communists that you never saw, that you never come across, that you never fight with. You had no war against communists, at least the one that communists waged against you. Yes, Americans waged a war against Korean communists, Vietnamese communists, supported the Indonesian mass slaughter towards communists. Well, at least they wasn't against it. They was absolutely okay with this, with what's happening during that time. Well, while was well aware about this. No country that had communism as ideology ever attacked United States of America. And yet Americans hate communists and do not hate Nazis or Japanese imperialists, who pretty much still alive and well. They don't hate them at all. Even today's liberals, when they call people Nazi, they don't mean that they hate them. They hate these people, and they just don't know other scary words but Nazis. And you, people who hate communists, you don't know other scary word but commies. And this is not about commies good, Nazis good, or bad either. This is not about this. This is about perception of reality. When American people are absolutely 100% okay with buying Japanese cars, Japanese electronics, well, for God's sake, Sony own half of the country. You would kill for Nintendo, etc. Absolutely okay with buying Japanese. And in the same time, hate communists who does not even exist for the day. There is no communist movement, there is no communist country, there is nothing communist in this world that can threat people. Some small groups of people, individuals who believe in communist ideas, they pose no threat to huge war machine, other than convincing people that their rights is much more important than the profits of the rich people. That's all. That's what rich people are afraid of. But why do you, common citizens of any country in the world, whether it's Brazil, USA, Great Britain, Germany, or else, why do you personally hate communists that you know nothing about? Other than you read books, you watched videos, and I don't know, listen to some people. You never thought that it's maybe just simply a propaganda? No? I can't explain it with nothing but indoctrination. It can't be just dull as this. I hate you just because I watched the video, or read the book, or this man said, or I don't know, historical facts. Doesn't matter what historical facts said in this context. Why it doesn't matter? Because you don't care about them. USS Indianapolis. Japanese cost 800 of American people was almost literally eaten by the sharks. It was a tragedy. Tragedy of American people. Pearl Harbor. American soil was attacked. It was a tragedy. Thousands of people died, or I don't know how many. It was a tragedy. Do you remember it? Do you hate Japanese for this? Or it doesn't count when it comes to the money? That's something you want. Or maybe you just indoctrinated to buy Japanese and German, because that's the mutual agreement between the elites. And this thought never come across, never come into my mind, never come into the mind of the American people. It's just mind-boggling how indoctrinated you must be to even do not consider such idea. This is outright stupid. To be indoctrinated this much. It's not about historical facts, because you don't care about historical facts. You want Toyota, and you don't care how many people died in Pearl Harbor. So why do you care about millions of Russians that was killed by Russians in the Soviet Union? Why do you all of a sudden care about this, when you don't even care about maybe your grandfather or grandmother died in these attacks? You don't care about your own history. Why do you all of a sudden care about Russian history or Chinese history? This can't be explained other than with anything but indoctrination. Anything but propaganda. And yet, Americans refuse to accept reality. Refusing. They rather die than accept reality. That they themselves do not care about historical facts. All they care about is what they already been indoctrinated with. The idea that was embedded in their minds by the propaganda machine since 1950s. This propaganda machine working already 70 years, working hard every day to convince you to hate something and do not hate other things that you're supposed to hate. At least not hate, but at least care about this. You don't. You will buy another Honda, you will buy another Sony PlayStation, you will buy another, I don't know, anything Japanese or German. And you would not care about this. And you know why? Because you were indoctrinated to act like this. And this is not about communist good or bad at all. This is about Americans don't care about American history. And they care more about Chinese history and Russian history than about their own American history. The same goes to the Germans, the same goes to the Great Britain, the Australian, any people. They suddenly, all of a sudden, they care more about the Russian history than their own. Bullshit. Bullshit. That's not only bullshit, that's simply outright idiotic. That you're ignoring something in order to be fooled, be indoctrinated. That's simply idiotic. Thoughtful person with brain cells, person with the brain inside their head, they simply can't be that way. That's just mind-boggling how indoctrinated is Americans and how they do not care about reality, but all they care about is what propaganda told them. And yet they're running around with this, oh my god, censorship, oh my god, I'm woke and etc. I'm waking up and I'm here to wake other people up. Wake to what? Wake to what, dude?